Canvas has several great built-in accessibility tools. Today we're going to be talking about 6 of them, including the Immersive Reader, the Accessibility Checker, how to change heading styles, alt text, and more. Let's go ahead and start with this page. Now I've created this page for supplies that they need for class, and it looks pretty nice if I say so myself, but what we want to do is to see how it sounds to a screen reader. So we're going to use Canvas's Immersive Reader. If your Immersive Reader is not showing up in this upper right hand corner, it's really easy to get there, and this is exactly what your students will do too. We're going to click on the account avatar. So we're going to click on account over here on the left, and then we're going to choose settings and then edit settings. There are a lot of these, so I do a Control F to find, so Control F. On a Mac, it would be a Command F. And I'm looking for immersive. And there it is. You'll notice that mine right now is enabled. To enable or disable it, you would click on this and then toggle between the two. And I definitely want that enabled. Let's get back to that page. Let me go ahead and click on it. The Immersive Reader is not just for students with low vision. It does so much more. We're going to start by playing what the screen reader reads. I'm just going to hit the play button here at the bottom.
What you'll need for class. Pexels Jess Bailey Design 743986.jpg.
Did you catch that? That's actually my photo, my image. Okay, so I definitely need to change that. But I want to show you what else this Immersive Reader does. Up here we have this little book symbol, reading preferences. I'm going to click on that one. And then as I scroll down, I get several different options, including line focus, which is a great way to go through the material. But we can also translate this into another language. So as I scroll down with this drop-down menu, so I can go ahead and choose Spanish. And then I don't want it to do it just by word, I want it to do it by document. Notice how quickly the Immersive Reader translated my document into Spanish. Now the setting is done student by student, faculty by faculty. I do want mine though in English. Okay, I'm just going to click the X and then this back arrow in the upper left-hand corner. So I know I've got some things to work on, including the image. Right now it's just reading the file name instead of describing that image. We're going to click on Edit to put into action some of our accessibility features. Now I've already added my image in here. So what I can do is to click on the image and see that little image options that pops up. I'm going to click the image options, and then over here I've got alt text, and it is just the file name. So instead, I just want to say a row of colored pencils. You've got 120 characters, and I'll tell you, ChatGPT is really great at coming up with some good alt text. You can instead mark this as a decorative image, and the screen reader will just go right past that, but I think it's helpful for the course. I do want to go ahead and hit save now or done. Next, I'm going to tackle my headings. Now, my headings are very clear to me as I look at this visually. I've got supplies as one of the headings. I've got online tools as a heading. But right now, if I highlight supplies, it is showing up as a paragraph instead of as a heading. Headings are really, really helpful to a screen reader because it acts as a table of contents. A student might not need to read every single word on your page. They can skip around using these headings. I want to change supplies into a heading. So I'm going to highlight that. And then up here on my toolbar, I'm going to click the down arrow and I'm going to choose heading 2. Notice how heading 1 is not available. Heading 1 is actually my page title. So I'm going to choose this as heading 2. So I scroll down, I've got another one here, supplies and online tools. Those really go on the same level. So I'm highlighting online tools. I'm going to click the down arrow and I'm going to change this one to a heading 2 as well. Now, if I had some tool categories, I would do that one as a heading 3. But I've got my headings all set up and I'm ready for my next accessibility feature. As I continue to look at my text here, I notice that I've got these links, and I know that my screen reader is going to read all of these, https://www. So I do not want to do that. I want to instead use some best practices. What the screen reader will do is it will read this as a link. So I don't need to say, go to this link. I'm going to say, we'll be using And I'm going to change this link instead to have text that says Desmos. To do that, I'm going to click on the link just one time. And again, I've got those options that pop up. I'm going to click on link options, and really similar to what we had for the image, I've got text. I'm going to change this text. Instead of being the link address, I'm going to change this to be Desmos and click done. I am going to click next to that, and then I'm going to hit my right arrow cursor to get away from the link, and I'm going to say in class right after that. So we'll be using Desmos in class. It reads just like a normal sentence. And then we've got Google Sheets, and I'm going to instead say spreadsheets will be done in, I already have that Google Sheets language there. To show you this technique, I'm going to delete what I got. This is actually my favorite way to do links. I'm going to hit delete there. I'm going to go over to Google Sheets and grab the web address. I already have that open, so I'm going to click on it. Here's my web address. I'm just going to click anywhere up in that URL, and I'm going to copy it by doing a Control-C. If you're on a Mac, it would be a Command-C. So I've got that copied. Back over to Canvas, I want Google Sheets to be the link. So I'm highlighting it. Now I'm going to do a Control K. So Control followed by K brings up, I've already got my text, brings up a place for me to paste my link in. So I'm going to do a Control V. If you were on a Mac, you would do a Command V and then done. So I've got Google Sheets now with its web address. So now I've got each of those links using just really logical, easy to follow text. Now there are a few other things on this page that I need to deal with, and that is the table. I want to make sure that the table is formatted correctly for accessibility. And I've got, and I'm sure you noticed, I have a contrast problem here with the highlighting that I did. Now, as I look down below, I've got my accessibility checker, and this accessibility checker at the bottom of your rich content editor shows you how many issues are remaining. So what I do is I go through and I build my page, or I clean up my page using all of the accessibility tools that I can. But when it comes to something like a table or a color that's not working, the Canvas accessibility checker is really helpful. So let's click on this checker now. So here's my accessibility checker. It says that there are 4 issues. Tables. The checker does such a great job with tables without me having to delve way into the properties for this table. It says that it should have a caption, and I'm just going to say school supplies needed. Okay, so I've got a caption there, and see how it just typed it right in, which is super great. Next is to set a table header. Now I designated one with color, but that's not going to work for my screen reader. So I do have a header. I'm going to click the down arrow, and I have a header row. Super helpful, right? I'm going to hit apply. And then it says change the text color. Now the really nice thing about the accessibility checker, it knows exactly what an appropriate color contrast is. Clearly, it's not a green background with black font. I'm sure it's going to be something much lighter like a white. Now watch this apply button down here in the bottom. As I move up here and I go to somewhere like a white and then click on it, the apply button is enabled, but if I move back over here, that apply button no longer works. Oh, and then finally, it says image file name. I almost forgot about this. Image file name should not be used. I have got this A+ at the bottom. Now I want you to take a look at the text here. The text says, now, oh, which I spelled that wrong. Now you're well on your way to earning an A+ in this class. I don't need to repeat the A+ image. So I certainly could add some alt text here, but instead I'm just going to delete that. And I'm going to change this into a decorative image. It does not add to the page information in any way. Let's hit apply and see how we're doing with that accessibility checker. And I got the balloons, which always makes me super happy. Now I've got a lot more resources available and upcoming. Check the description down below as well as my pinned comment so you don't miss out on a thing. I've got another video for you here.